welcome along. Here we go. Let's have a look at this game. This is from the Classical Arena Chess Tournament. Still going. So let's have a look at it. There it is there. I hope you liked it. So, but no, seriously, I better have a look at this game because my opponent is from Germany. 2-3-4-5. Lost 45 points for this game where we both went berserk mode. I only got 19 points though. However, before we go any further, here is the leading player, Tactical Sorokov. Sorry if I've got that wrong. Haha, pardon the pun. But Tactical Sorokov is got one loss and at least 2 draws, maybe 3. So it's pretty darn cool on 82. But now I'm going to show you me. Here we go. Here is me. I've only got 2 wins. Okay, my rating is 2182. My performance is 2376. I don't know if you can see that on the screen, but that's what it says. My first opponent, this is my first game. Okay, you ready? I'm hitting my keyboard. I got 1 point for that. And that was played 2 hours ago. And so my opponent didn't show. So I hope you like that game. That's probably about the quickest game I've shown you. Then I want to just go back here. Back to Classical Shield Arena. And so let's have a look at this game that I played 2 hours ago. And for those that like to see things in a fast motion, there are some people out there that like this sort of thing. I'm going to do it right now. Or I could do it at the end. Here we go. This is it. Let's have a look at this game real fast. That's the end position. So I hope you like that game. I certainly did. And I don't know about my opponent. I'm not sure whether my opponent liked it. So anyway, without further ado, let's have a look at this game properly. C4. Usually I play C3. Now CD5 on move 10 is not quite the best as I have now got. This move, I hope you can see it. It's been a bit naughty again, moving the piece twice as the knight on E5 has moved twice as well as bishop E5. My opponent is 2-3-4-5, lost 45 points for this, but I only gained 19 points. So I've only played 2 games, if you can call them 2 games. King F8, knight E4, bishop E4. Bishop D2, because I like to just see this bishop get some activity, namely checking the king, being a pain. So black's a wee bit inhibited, but I don't know how badly, I'm not sure. A6, so bishop B4 check, might as well first. And then I went bishop D3. And usually I would like to try to keep my white squared bishop on, but this bishop is quite a good one, isn't it, really? Because it's in front of it's in front of my enemy's lines. This bishop is on E4, so, and my opponent merely captured from Germany. Queen D3, knight C6. Now we have some normality. So I played knight C6, BC6. So I've always got this weakness in black's camp at the moment. And also this, you see. And I heard something just recently from a grandmaster that when the white squared bishops go off, obviously these are weak pawns. They're all on white squares. every pawn is on a white square, which is good for the bishop, but there's nothing other than rooks and queens and kings to look after this pawn and this pawn. So they're quite a handy thing to have. And one day black will probably want to get rid of my bad dark squared bishop, or my bad bishop, and thereby these squares and these squares and these pawn moves and this pawn move are going to be quite good, especially with the rooks on here and here. Okay, sort of like bearing down on poor old c-pawn, where black would be defending and white would be sort of like attacking. So it's better to be the aggressor than the defender. It's better to be attacking the c6 pawn than defending it, because it just is. It's something to do with what Aaron Nimzowitsch would say. So bc6, so I played rook ac1, trying to emulate that sort of information from him. Queen b6 happened, and then bishop a3, as of course my bishop was attacked. King h7, this is fair enough. And so here I played just rook to c2. Bishop f8, and don't worry, there will be some exercises. Maybe you do worry that there might be some exercises. But I'm looking at this pawn break here, and as promised, bishop f8 has now occurred. And had I played my rook to c3 instead of c2, after the next move I would now have to capture, I would now have to defend b2 again somehow. Maybe I would play b3, but now because the rook's on c2, I don't have to worry about protection next move for pawn b2. Rook fc1, so setting out to get a hold on black's position. So probably the chess computer, which I'm not using, although I have been accused of same, is now going white is better, and we can probably just assume that at least, because this post here on c5 is looking pretty good, plus also I am attacking this. But black here played rook a b8, so this is sort of a counter-attack. Now probably no, not really, David. Probably white could just play rook c6 and queen a6 and stuff like that, but I decided to not go into that kind of liquidation mode. I played b3 on move 23 and 23 rook fc8. So we can either go positionally here, or we can either go a bit tactically. So I chose a move that isn't necessarily tactical, but it's going into a position that I'm thinking, well, here we have a deadlock, don't we? And a lot of people around the world do not like deadlocks at the moment because whatever. So I'm not going to talk about the elephant in the room. But black's probably not doing too badly, because black can probably play a5 and a4 to muddy up white's pawn structure. And this is what Nimzowitsch also says, is to mine with your pawns, and at the same time getting rid of their weakness, which is the a6 pawn and probably the c6 pawn, and that sort of thing. Okay, without going on about it too much more. h3. Now, probably Nimzowitsch would go play h4. Maybe. So maybe Nimzowitsch would say h4 now to prevent g4, hg3. But I don't know if it actually prevents it. But black did not play h4 here, which I sort of expected that black would play h4, but played rook c7. So here came g4, and here I didn't expect the next move either, hg4, hg4. Now what? Black's sort of like hanging around, almost helping me by hanging around looking after the c6 pawn. Maybe wanting to play, they play rook bc8, maybe wanting to play c5, which is going to rid themselves of this pawn and have a major swap off, and then it's going to be queens versus kings, you know, running up the board. So at g4, I played f5, of course, and see this rook can just swing over here at an opportune time. And so here's c5 as promised. So I was at a point of thinking, what move should I play? Should I play dc5, rook c5, fg6, fe6, f6, rook h2 check, or what? So here I played on move 28, rook h2 check, king g7. So what move would you play now? And I'm not sure that it was my opponent played the best here, but what move would you play now? And for those people that saw the game real quickly, it was, of course, on move 29, rook f1 with the idea of f6. But I don't know what's going to happen after that. Or maybe something else, but I don't know what actually will occur after f6 check. But first of all is ef5, gf5. Now, my opponent now blunders, which is surprising. My opponent now blunders, plays queen f6. Why is that a blunder? So my opponent now plays 30 queen f6, and don't worry, it's only 35. It's only move 35 that this game ends on, and my opponent resigns. So my opponent now blunders. So why is queen f6 a blunder? Can you see it? So here's queen f6. So what can you see for white here? Is, of course, playing fg6, which now we're threatening the queen. But hang on. The queen can just take here, and then we have a queen swap, don't we, after queen g6 and fg6? Yeah? No. Because after queen g6 now comes this move. See, rook g2. And rook g2 is really curtains now. So we have the final moves, cd4, queen d4, but of course, king h7. Now make sure, David, you take the queen. So play rook g6. Do not be nice to your opponent in some regards. fg6 and queen d5. So that is this game, and I will just show you that quickly again for those that enjoy that, and then I bid you farewell, and I bid you farewell on a special day, a Saturday. Okay, bye for now, and thank you for watching. All the best with your chess, no matter where it's at, and primarily try to enjoy the game of chess. That's very, very important. Not important, but it's good to try and enjoy the game, even when it doesn't go very well. Because believe me, there are a lot, I don't even want to say it again, there are a lot of times that it doesn't go well.